Mechanical keyboards are great. They are responsive, smooth, tactile, and just a joy to type on. However, they're quite expensive. But recently there have been a plethora of budget alternatives flooding the market and lowering prices, which is great. Meet the Lingyi Blackwidow. It's one of those budget alternatives, and it's a $30 mechanical keyboard with clicky switches. But the question remains, is it any good? As always, we start off with the design. The keyboard is a 10 keyless design, which means it's missing the number pad and only has 87 keys. This results in better ergonomics as it gives your hands more space to use the mouse, and it also means when you use your computer, your keyboard hand and your mouse hand will be put closer together, which is great for comfort. However, if you use your number pad a lot and you have to key in a lot of numbers to your computer, say you're an accountant, then you probably want to pass on this keyboard, or you have to get a separate number pad. This keyboard features white keycaps on a floating keycap design, meaning there is no top shell covering the sides of the keycaps, making the keycaps look like they're floating. The keycaps themselves are a simple white design, although the build quality of these keycaps are terrible. It's ABS plastic and it's super thin, making a very flimsy feeling keycap. They felt almost brittle. And I'm quite sure it wouldn't last for long-term usage, and they break really quickly if you are a intense and heavy typer that bottoms out their key switches a lot. It's also really ugly, the font is terrible. So that's why I replaced these keycaps immediately with PBT keycaps within 20 minutes of use. Hence, this explains why in the B-roll, the keyboard's keycaps have been switched. Now, I hope you understand. Okay, under the keycaps, you find these key switches. These are branded Long Hao, but they're just made by Kao. Side note, people call it Kao, but the real name is actually Kyla, Chinese. Okay, more on the performance of the switches in a bit, but let's continue with the design. Under the key switches, you find a nice metal backplate. It's got this brushed aluminium design, which I think is beautiful. It's very elegant and simple and doesn't have that gamer aesthetic. It's also really nice and solid, and it makes the keyboard feel super duper durable. There's pretty much little to no flex at all, and it feels like a keyboard you can bring around and not worry about breaking, because it really is quite a well-built keyboard. Very strong indeed. Moving on the bottom of the device, we do find a bit of that gamer aesthetic here and there, which I don't like. But it's facing the bottom, it's on the bottom, you won't be looking at it, so in my opinion, it's still okay. On the bottom, we also find 4 rubber feet to keep the keyboard from sliding around, as well as 2 kick-up feet to elevate and angle the keyboard for better typing comfort. These 2 kick-up feet also have rubber stoppers, which is nice. On the bottom, you also find 3 cable routing grooves for routing your cables, as well as a integrated keycap puller, which I think is super functional and convenient. The fact that you have a keycap puller always with you with this keyboard. Speaking of the cable, by the way, the cable is a pretty nice, pretty long cable that is definitely enough to reach your computer from your keyboard, and it's nice and thick and braided and terminates in a gold-plated USB connection. However, we already know gold plating on the USB connection is pretty much just a marketing gimmick, so you can ignore that. One thing I did notice weird about the USB connector though was that it came with a rubber cap to protect it, which I have never really seen before, so that's kind of weird. Also, the cable is not detachable, which is kind of unfortunate, because if you wanted a shorter cable or a different looking cable, you can't get that with this keyboard unless you do your own soldering, which is not recommended. Let's talk about how it performs now. Well, it really isn't that bad. These Kao Blue switches are basically less refined Cherry MX Blues, and they provide a nice audible and tactile feedback when actuated. The click, however, feels a bit more sharper and less smooth than their Cherry MX alternatives, and it's kind of inconsistent across different switches, I realized. Typing is still great on this though. It's still a mechanical keyboard, which is going to beat any membrane keyboard out there. It's nice and responsive and definitely enjoyable to use. Here is a sound test of the keyboard with these PBT keycaps. Functionality wise, it's pretty simple. It's plug and play and requires no drivers at all to work, which is very nice. There are also a few function comments here and there, which is pretty functional, although kind of weird, these function comments. FNF9 launches game mode, which disables the Windows. FNF10 and FNF11 are weird, however, because these two buttons activate the calculator and Microsoft Edge respectively. Seriously? What? I don't get it, especially the calculator app, because this keyboard doesn't have a number pad. What? Okay. And FNF12 allows you to, I think, adjust the refresh rate of the keyboard, which is good. There's no backlighting, however, in terms of functionality. So if you type at night, if you work late into the night and you don't like turning on your lights, then maybe you'll want to get another keyboard with backlighting, because this keyboard doesn't. Or you can just type without looking at your keyboard. You just need a bit of practice. So that's about it for design and performance. So I guess it's conclusion time then. Should you get this keyboard? The answer is, as most answers always are, maybe. For $30, it's really cheap, and it's a great first entry for those looking into getting mechanical keyboards or want to practice modern keyboards. But if you are a long-time user of mechanical keyboards, more seasoned user, you would not enjoy this keyboard that much. So it really is up to you. Anyway, this has been ZX Tech. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you found it helpful, do like and subscribe. If you didn't, whatever, you can dislike, it's up to you. And if you want to and you have the time, watch another video linked on the screen. That'll be really appreciated. Anyway, thanks for watching. Goodbye.